Sunday not coming, God. Sunday is here.
Greetings, good evening, good afternoon. Welcome to another Sunday Scoops on Sunday afternoon. Boy, this weekend, Richard, we almost wash away.
You see, you know the weatherman business. I thought about it Friday and Saturday, and I say, let me not call it because rain going to wash with the place.
Oh, man, it was a good weekend overall, though.
We could have used the water. At least I can't get, could have sent some down to Jamaica where the water lock off. But today we're going to talk about something different. We always hear about Jamaica give music to the world and is ska and rocksteady and reggae and dancehall and DJ music and thing. And then occasionally a man who in the know will say, I'm to Nyabinghi music. Because nobody really talks about Nyabinghi. And I guess to the whole Rasta tradition, God, we come from a country where we love Rasta for the fashion, but there's a side of the Rastafari thing that nobody
the serious side of Rastafari people don't want to hug up that, and it's a sad state of affairs.
But you see, that happened because man like you trim off your locks. I don't even know which part you bury.
No, but Rasta in your heart.
Rasta, well, you see my Rasta over my heart over here. So,
Divine conception.
Anyway, today we're going to talk about
many are called, but few are chosen.
Nyabinghi music, the Nyabinghi component of Jamaican music that is hardly spoken of. Yet,
and we have two special guests.
Absolutely. I'm trying to see where they there they are.
Priest Dougie
and Ras
Ivy.
Yes.
Greetings, brothers.
Your microphone want to turn on Ras Ivy.
No, my mic, I'm muted now.
It's on.
Greetings, brother.
Greetings.
Blessings, man. Blessings, Rastafari.
And
Priest
Dougie.
Yeah, man. Give that.
Respect.
See them again still. Priest
Yeah,
Dougie.
Yeah. These one of the things when we have a topic like this, God, we don't want to wing it. And when we have experts, people who have contributed
and
time
more than
and scholarship, who have the liberty,
who are living the lifestyle,
absolutely,
who are living the life itself.
It makes sense.
Embracing the precepts of Rastafari.
Absolutely, it makes sense. We draw for that level of expertise and bring them into the conversation. But I believe that before we get started, let's just sweeten the listeners' ears with an early piece, and then we bring in our two guests and we take it from there.
Well, we're going to start out with one of the first recorded instances of Nyabinghi drumming in popular music, which is Oh Carolina, done in 1959 by the Folk Brothers.
Seminal instrument in the music.
Nyabinghi drumming.
Yes, but let's hear from our guests. We want to go first. Priest Dougie.
Yes. Yeah, so you draw for your whole rusty dusty.
Well, we wanted to try to start get the thing from the grassroots, so we reach on the bottom of the bag. Yes.
Well, the roots of the thing is, it's deeper than just the music,
True.
The music is just a genre of the Nyabinghi movement, Nyabinghi order.
Right.
Like I say. And I love man when know them thing, we do them homework. It's a liberty. You understand? It's a liberty. Yes. And out of that liberty the music, come true. The liberty of Nyabinghi is a liberty of resistance. And a catalyst for social change,
Right.
Because that is how it came into being, from that great queen Nyabinghi who resisted the British. And our spirit them say is transcending from one warrior to another warrior queen, come down the line. We see it in our Nanny, one of our hero, same way, that spirit of resistance. So that is what Nyabinghi, the order and the movement stand for, But I'll turn it over to my brother here, who is Nyabinghi chanter of the highest order. That's all right.
Well, we give thanks, beloved. We give thanks to all the listeners, our hosts, our interviewees and interviewers. Just looking at Nyabinghi, is part of the revolution, and it's part of the praise to the Almighty who we see in the personality of His Imperial Majesty Emperor Haile Selassie I. So in giving praise and in a revolutionary resistance against colonialism, come forth these chants. And the foundation of it is the bass, the funde, and the repeater. So you see when the lights gone out, one music I go stand, the first music, before string instrument of electronics and any electronical instrument, the Nyabinghi was foremost. I remember we were at Bob Marley 45th anniversary, and all type of music and musicians were there. And in a second, electricity gone, everything stopped. And the only music that could surface to keep the audience intact was the bass, the funde, and the kete, along with voices. So when everything else failed, remember, we have to go back to the root of it, which is the Nyabinghi. So the Nyabinghi music comprise sacred, revolutionary chants, yeah? Mm-hmm. Invoking the presence of the Almighty for us, be with us as we resist our evil system. So it's a throne room music in praise of the Almighty, and it's also a music that a call for death and destruction for all black, white oppressors. No matter your color, once you're an oppressor of any people, the Nyabinghi, I say, we will enchant you down. So hence, Babylon, your throne gone down. Name them. All them chants will come out of Ras Michael, Count Azzy, Mystic Revelation of Rastafari, the Rastafari elders, Ras Ivan family, Profi, all those sacred revolutionary music form part of the Nyabinghi.
You just on reflection and priest Dougie alluded to it earlier.
There's a science.
Yeah, go again,
priest.
This thing yes.
Science behind this thing too, because the drum, it rises your vibration, and so there's an optimum level that you're supposed to be vibrating at as an individual. See, much less when you're in a gathering. We're all on vibrating on that level, that frequency, that height of vibration. See, it transcends you, that's why the drum sound, when them three instruments coordinate, it puts you in a trance-like state. I don't mean say you're gone into some space thing, I just mean that your meds is at
consciousness.
Deepest. Yeah, man, your consciousness and your meds is at its highest level and your deepest level. You understand? So it's a science to it.
I want to touch on a particular issue, because this music we played earlier, the Carolina tune, it goes back the late 1950s. Prince Buster is leaving his own Babylon with Coxsone and decided to go and set up his own shingle. But one of the things he wanted to do was to be a sort of a self-serving in terms of his own creations. He would only play his own music. And so he wanted something different, and he went up to Warwicker Hill, according to the scribes, and reached for Count Azzy. And the mystic revelation of Rastafari. It was a sight, according to the scribes, these Rastafarians entering RJR studio, because the music was recorded actually at RJR studios. And when they brought in these huge, hand drums and so on, it was not only a sight, but a cause for concern. But more importantly,
Babylon.
I love how Ras laugh, because here is Rasta making it entry into a music
RGR.
and a place that was a symbol of repression against Rastafari. And here is Rastafari entering this home of repression, if you will. And not only that, entering a music, and from that entry,
Changing
they
the
never
landscape of the Jamaican
they
music.
change it, absolutely, God, and they never think. You know, Priest made the point about the meds and the vibrations. God, you always talk about the heartbeat and the drum. That's the significance and the symbolism of the drum in the music to bring Priest's point home. But Ras, you were about to make another point.
Priest Dougie.
Just before Priest D go on, as you mentioned, the entry of Count Azzy, the Mystic Revelation, into RGR. Can you imagine 1966 when Count Azzy and the Mystic Revelation of Rastafari was royally invited to play drums
at King's House
in the presence of His Imperial Majesty. And the dignitaries of Jamaica would never like Rasta.
Absolutely. In fact, that was the seat of oppression at King's House, because that's where the Governor General was. And this was the same Governor General who had issued an edict years earlier to literally
obliterate
Rasta because Rasta had made the point that you can't worship no British king because the Rasta king is Emperor Haile Selassie.
And we are in the month of Leonard P. Howell, the man who sounded that trumpet far back in the 30s.
So you see how much history the music have. Music of deep history, man. And today, that's what them talk about reggae music. Reggae music is built from this. When Bob call it the King's music, it's because the King's music is based upon the Nyabinghi, the heartbeat, that connection between the universe and the individual. You understand? It's a spiritual music. It transcends religion, We would say it's a religious music. No, it's a spiritual music, because no matter who you are, if you're there within the earshot of a Nyabinghi ceremony,
you have to move.
You find yourself rocking, no matter how you have to hold all your foot. If you're a fighter, no matter, you're going to try to stop your foot from move, you're going to try to stop. You can't, that drum sound
have to move.
Facet of your body.
And when Jimmy Clifford launched that work here, Bongo Man a come.
Right.
Yeah, and the renowned Bob took this chant and made it so popular, Babylon tune gone down.
Rastaman chant.
Yeah, man, and then Max Romeo, I saw Selassie. I remember that song there, I smile when I hear it, because I remember 1974 at St. Andrew Tech. It was a revolution in the school when we turn up as Rasta. One of the most serious principal on the block, Isaac Henry.
Major Isaac Henry.
What? Yeah. Major, listen to me, stand about 7 feet tall.
Yeah, man. Listen, I know Major Isaac as a cadet. And when the man is about 10 feet tall, because you...
Oh, and you said 7, you said 10.
10, you're looking at him, and I'm waist, you look for as a youth,
Yeah.
And worse, remember, put on all the army uniform there.
Oh, my gosh. So, attending St. Andrew Technical and turn up with your locks for your head to confront Isaac Henry. You have to be a lion in the jungle, ready to rumble. And I remember he invited the university singers to come to St. Andrew Tech. Some function was happening.
Uh-huh.
You see, when I hear them say, I saw Selassie, I stretch forth his hands to take I across.
Oh, you're Jordan
River. You must know, we in at the back of the auditorium. Yeah.
Exactly.
All right.
I don't know if Isaac Henry didn't know, so that would have been one of their selection, but we were pleased. So this kind of music was uplifting, and when renowned artists take them, add strings to them, and make them more acceptable and out there. Because the Nyabinghi was on the mountaintop. The Nyabinghi was in the hills and the valleys and away from Babylon. Can remember, you know, Rasta couldn't gather in a numbers, you know, not 3 or 4 Rasta couldn't gather.
Yeah, this guy them say you plan a revolution.
Yes,
Insurrection.
man. Yes, remember 1958, and Priest Dougie can allude to this and tell you more about it, because 1958 when racists gather in a downtown park, you know, with them they call Victoria Park.
Victoria Park.
With drums and chant and reasoning, you know. And a
up.
blow the bang, you know. Them say Rasta call up a meeting to create a revolution against
take over Kingston.
Yes. And I tell you, the brutality were ensued from just drums and chant and racists coming together is more than tongue can tell. This whole history, you'd have to have another program to talk about. The atrocities netted out to Rastafari on account of their Africanness in Jamaica. That today we see all nation, King John and tongue hold on to it. Ganja, where them fight with her, become the #1 cash crop right now. Locks become a fashion. Ital food become a food of the normal people who want to stay healthy. I mean,
and reggae is the king's music.
Exactly. So we have been through it, Rasta. So the Nyabinghi has been.
Oh no, what as Rasta I talk, you know, out some hills and valley and I go. Eyes is back in I youthful days. Places where most people not going to venture to, you know. Where you walk for all the whole day straight to reach at the encampment. You know. Yeah, man, when you go all Bongo Cali up
oh my no
Spring Valley there.
Priest
when you go all of them places, the whole day you walk.
Yes, man.
See,
but you see,
but
the whole thing in a
vibe, sure.
The whole thing was Rasta trying to find a place where the police now go come.
Yes.
Because those days, we have to hide, forgive praise with the same Nyabinghi drum. So the Nyabinghi music has been one where suffer because Yaawd is the music of Rastafari.
And remember, no, you know, it's a peace and love man. Then we are talking about now, you know. And love man, then we are come with them bongo, you know. Just forgive praise, you know. Where the world come down pan with extreme prejudice, want to eradicate we, because we in the inner cities, chanting with drum, telling the youth them say, yo, this is the way, you know. Africa, you're African, you know. Rise up your culture, rise up your consciousness, read your Bible.
That's the thing, priest. So the minute you start try to raise someone's consciousness and make them realize and think on a different level, of course you're going to be oppressed. Yeah.
You know, I'm listening to you, priest, and Rasavi. You talk about the persecution, because you know we love to beat the chest as Jamaicans, especially you know on this side of the world. We talk about you know this all-embracing culture that is Jamaican. When
you mean the one love business?
Yeah, there's a lot of hypocrisy embedded in all of that, because the same group that you know if were we to have followed Rastafari in terms of the concept of one love and the peace and love and one love, one heart, and allow that level of consciousness to seep through, particularly with the youngsters, through all the generations.
Yeah.
My sense is that we wouldn't have the problems that we have.
You wouldn't have it. You wouldn't have it.
There you go.
That's why they moved us out. That's why we were a conflict of interest. We were telling the youth them to rise up consciousness when they want to control the youth them. Remember, you know, you have to divide the people to lead the people with partisan politics. Partisan politics, you have to divide the people to lead them. Rasta was uniting the people into one with the one.
And we're back. Yes. One of the things, Richie, about Nyabinghi music, it just raises the vibration. That Third World a while ago, one song, Nyabinghi.
Man, it's like the world dropped in my lap.
A whole different level.
Another point. In fact, I wanna when we bring the Dougie and Rasaivi back. Rasaivi. Because you know Dougie talked about the drum and bass and the acoustic music, no electronic instrument, and the impact it have.
Human
I had an
vibe.
experience years ago, would have been around 1977, where I went to a third world concert, and it's instructive. You play that third world song. The concert was at Micro Auditorium on Marasca Road, right across from Water Commission place. And it was during the 70s when you had massive power outage. You can't guarantee that you will run an hour out of the day without a power cut. And true to form,
Them time the Jamaicans were run by the B-Sick unit.
the one out of
Hunts Bay.
Hunts Bay. True to form, bam, light gone. About half an hour into the concert, and
Like
we don't have
that.
no clue when the light will come back, but the place full, the auditorium full, and let me tell you something. Carrot Jarrett, God rest him soul. Who else was there? Well, Bonnie Ruggs on the vocals.
Cat Core.
Cat Core. Willie was now playing drums. No, I think it was Richard Daly was playing drums at the time. Yeah, no, Richard was, yeah, you're right. So it would have been Willie.
Yeah.
So there's no electricity. Third World kept that auditorium humming for about an hour and 45 minutes, right? All happened is that the man them just move them instrument closer to the tip of the stage. Bonnie Ruggs come down in the audience and just raise him decibel a little level more. And plus the audience are singing anyway, right? 1 hour and 40 minutes, no electricity, and Third World rock that auditorium. And what were they playing? Where just play a while ago?
Nyabinghi music.
So when the
Kepe,
lights
the
goes
Funde
out,
and the bass.
yeah, when the light goes out, the only surviving music are the Nyabinghi,
Your voice a little low, Russ.
Yeah, I'm just saying, when the lights goes out, the
Right.
only music we are going to stand up at the Nyabinghi. Because we
And-
prove that. We see it 1990 at Bob Marley Museum. I mean, the light go away for about more than an hour. And the only thing that could create a vibe and keep the vibe going was the Nyabinghi. That even when the light come back, it's like the people were clamoring for more. Because it was the Nyabinghi that kept the vibration going. Yeah, so first...
The drum sound, the drum sound, you see that vibration, it in the human temple, especially African Isle, especially we have African ancestry. It in our DNA. So when it coordinate properly, we are gonna feel it, man. We are gonna enjoy it. You understand? I've seen that many times where no other music is able to play, no other instrument is able to play, but because the drum is the drum, it's able to hold the vibe. You understand? It happened to I and I at in Philadelphia. We're celebrating a Bob Marley birthday in the park, and I was with a group there, Stepping Stone, a live band, and I was playing drums. Light chip out, leaving 3 mics. Only 3 mics were working. The lead singer, the bass man, and myself. Now our next virgin come up on the stage, come play the phone there, come keep the rhythm.
Nice.
And throughout the whole thing, the people in attendance thought it was a constructed performance,
Yeah.
It's when everything's done, them realize it's a power cut, Them think it was a choreograph. It was a choreograph act that we put in on.
Yes.
So when it's done and that music done and the lead singer stop and the whole way stop, they applaud with them give to that little bit, that little round there, so seeing
Yes,
that was
sir.
by faith that happened, showing you the power of the drum again. But the drum,
But you
as we
see,
talk about
Christy-
Nyabinghi, you see the history. We have to know the history of Nyabinghi. If you want to understand the reality of Nyabinghi, is the history of the Nyabinghi. Why? Drums have always been used as a communicating instrument. Throughout the history of Africa, when one village wanted to communicate to the next village, it was a drum sound that carried, and
The
bounced off the
message.
hills and bounced off the mountains. Okay. So the drum sound itself, the history of the drum is very important. Now the history of the Nyabinghi, how it come into being. Like we talk about the Queen, Nyabinghi, who died in the 1700s, and her spirit was transferred into Muhu Musa in the 1920s, who was fighting for them life in the Congo. See, they was fighting for them life in Rwanda, in Tanzania. See, in fighting against the colonial power, all fighting to be free. See, she rose up with that spirit of Nyabinghi. See, and formulated, draw back now the order. That was when the order became a force to be reckoned with. That a European writer from Austria, from Germany, Federico Filos, wrote a document that was published and republished in Jamaica, in the Jamaica Times, on the 7th of December, 1935. Okay, that spoke of this order, Nyabinghi, who has now just received a new leader, because Emperor Haile Selassie I was elected or selected to be the supreme leader of the Nyabinghi during that era. And from that era coming on down into the 1958 convention, between the oppression of the colonial powers and the resistance of Africans, the struggle became intense. Many leaders of the Ku Klux Klan died mysteriously in America, and they assigned that death to the Nyabinghi order. See, it was called the gingerbread caper. Even Leonard P. Howell was caught up in that. That was when he left the States and came home to escape all of that, because his tea shop in Harlem was one of the places that was identified in the whole caper. See? So the history of the Nyabinghi has been a mysterious, mystical resistance that
imperialism and oppression.
Social change. That means the betterment of a people, the betterment for a people. Yeah.
I was still priestly in that nice chronological order that I presented a while ago. We still have to point out to the many listeners, say, remember the drums, which was so intricate to our existence, yeah? On the plantation, the drums were banned. Because Massa never understand it, and when him hear the drum sound, tomorrow his wife would have dead beside him, and some destruction take place. So after a while, they felt that this drum, and they always have the old farmer. There's always an old farmer where we tell Massa, say, when they played these drums, things will happen, Massa. So from then on, the drums were banned. We couldn't have a drum. It's out of that colonial era now, anti-slavery, out of slavery. We could have make back a drum and start back with African drum beat, because the drums were banned on the plantation.
In that Rasai, here in the document, it says the British were so fearful of what Muhu Musa inspired that they introduced the Witchcraft Ordinance of 1912 in Uganda and in Rwanda. They create a law that is called the Witchcraft Law in 1912 to outlaw the use of drums, to outlaw the use of traditional practices amongst the native.
Rastafari.
But they migrated that same kind of oppressive legislation into the colonies as well. Certainly into the Americas, of which Jamaica would have been a part. Because the same banning of the drum was in existence down in Jamaica and in the
so I think the one or two together. That same statement that you made about the guy, that so-called prime minister of that time, that's wherever you see one or two Rasta gather, you must report it.
Right.
It's the same act. It's the same act. They were banning us because when we gathered, what did we do? We chanted Nyabinghi. What happened throughout the plantation days? when we chanted and the next morning, Master first born dead.
Dead.
Master crap
Yeah.
bun down. Master crap
Yeah.
eat up. Locusts come down, come eat it up. Rain, some unscheduled rain from nowhere just come and wash it away. All kind of things happen when we are allowed to chant. It's the power we are talking about again, you know, the science behind it we are talking about.
Hi there. If you enjoyed that clip, go on over to our website at yardmedia.com, where you can watch the entire broadcast at your leisure. And while you're there, why don't you check out our other reggae music features? And before you leave, pick up some of our Jamaican reggae merchandise, and hey, don't forget to tell your friends.